From Richmond Raceway, here in the beautiful state that is for lovers, the Monday Night NASCAR Xfinity Series, brought to you by A Lot Cleaner, is ready to get it on here in Richmond, Virginia. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to a fabulous night for racing here on Sim Racing Media. You'll have to forgive us for our delay of getting on the air tonight, but as usual, there's always gremlins floating around here on the iRacing servers, and one just happened to be here tonight. However, what is not here is a calm field. Last night in the Sunday Night NASCAR Cup Series, the drivers were hot and heavy for 400 total laps. And I'll tell you what, to the victors went the spoils. I'm Dave Regal here in the SRM broadcast booth with James Riles working behind the scenes to get everything up and running for us. So folks, get ready for the best racing you're going to see on Sim Racing Media this week. Drivers have qualified this evening. You'll have to forgive us for foregoing the graphics tonight. However, Christopher M. Hill here in the 96 machine, it's actually showing as the 11 right now. He's got the pole position with Bennett Allen in the 15 going to be rolling off on the outside of row number 1. Row number 2 made up of Bennett Allen. I'm sorry, there we go. Channing Ballou sits on the pole with Christopher Hill on the outside. Bennett Allen and Mike Wright make up row number 2 with R.P. Allen and Eugenio Alonso here on row 3. Brandon Minto and John Crow Sr. in row number 4 with Alexander Gangler in that number 82 machine, and Bobby Blazer making up row number 5. Gabriel Lafreniere, our neighbor from the north here in the 06 Oxmoor Chevrolet Camaro, going to be starting on row number 6 with Dylan Ackhart starting in 12th. Row number 7's going to have Sean Kelly and Matt White with Joey Savachki and Carlos Ramos making up row number 8. Brandon Loomis and Chris Custer make up row number 9, while Ricky Carmichael, the GOAT of all that is motocross racing, going to be starting in row number 10 alongside of Ohio State's very own Chris Custer. Ron Fitting and Joseph Lester going to be starting 20 and 21st, with Aaron Mack rounding out row number 11. John Bawalda and Corey Burka going to make up row number 12, with row number 13 going to Anthony Paggio, and the chief cook and bottle washer of the Sunday Night NASCAR Cup Series, Mr. Chris Claude, in the number 10 Dasani Toyota Supra. Zach Osborne and Zachary Vaughn make up row 14 with Dan Morgan and Steve Harang. Right here in row number 15, Kavaja Holt, Doug Argabright, and Tony Burt round out your field. And folks, right now, we're looking at one heck of a field. This is a large field tonight, 33 total drivers with 250 scheduled laps tonight. We will talk about that race distance once we get underway here, as, you know, we're trying to get caught up from last night. It was a big night, you know, in the Cup Series. And I'll tell you what, as we've gotten deeper and deeper into this season, good things have happened, you know, in this league, and it's been growing exponentially. And folks, just as we're getting settled in here, as the iRacing.com pace car brings us down the backstretch, we'll talk about all that and more as we take you from the green flag to the checkered flag right here on Sim Racing Media. And the iRacing.com pace car dives down pit road. Christopher Hill and Channing Ballou come into the Geico restart zone. Ladies and gentlemen, grab some popcorn, call it friends, settle in. We're going green flag at Richmond. The 42 of Channing Ballou working the high side over top of Bennett Allen right now. We see Bennett trying to go wheel to wheel with him as they dive it down into turn number 3. Christopher M. Hill, you can see here in that VRS Toyota Supra, running away right now, and that's exactly what he wants to see in the rear view mirror as these drivers going side by. Oh, Eugenio Alonso getting loose. He's going to have to cede a spot away to last year's dominant driver, Mike Wright. R.P. Allen, the brother of Bennett Allen, now gets a spot just barely away from Eugenio as he's holding on to the high side here on lap number 3. Dan Morgan right here on the 80 machine coming into turn 4. Just as he rolls out, I don't see where he might have crashed. We're taking a look right now. And there he is. Oh, he gets it right in the rear bumper from the 89. And that will shuffle things up for sure. And once again, we'll take a look here at the 89. Just as they get into turn number 1, he just takes it right there. And then that insult to injury, he backs up into Tony Burt, which, of course, Tony Burt making his return this week to the MNN Series, as he had taken a little bit of time off last week as we were out at COTA, and quite a dominant night at COTA for a couple of our drivers who all of a sudden turned into the, well, I guess for lack of a better term, you could call that the road course whisperers. We'll take a look at those results from last week as Logan Truitt brought home the checkered flag last week at Circuit of the Americas with Mike Wright in second, and Eugenio Alonso running right now in 6th position, getting his first podium of the season. Actually, second podium of the season right here on Sim Racing Media. And folks, we are going to step aside as we are still addressing some technical issues. So we'll be right back here on Sim Racing Media.
Drivers that took time, all of them.
Well, folks, you'll have to forgive us as we're 35 laps in. Dave Regal here once again. Sorry about these technical difficulties that we've had this evening. It's been quite a mess so far. Right now, we're going to be going radio style as we don't have the graphic going on here. So Christopher Hill going to be up here running in P1 with Bennett Allen and RP Allen. Running nose to tail here, second and third. Channing Ballou and Eugenio Alonso. They run fourth and fifth. Mike Wright, Bobby Blazer, Matt White, Gabriel Lafreniere, and Joseph Lester rounding out the top 10. All kinds of action all over the racetrack right now as Sean Kelly getting ready to work on Alexander Gangler here as Gangler just got a run into turn 1 and 2. As we saw right there, looks like Gangler's still going to be hassled here by Sean Kelly. Right now we see the 38 of Sean Kelly working here just behind Alexander Gangler with Ricky Carmichael close in pursuit here in the 04 Monster Energy Chevrolet Camaro. It looks like there's going to be a little bit of a gap now opening up here, so we'll try to go up here to Gabriel Lafreniere, who did so well last week in the Truck Series over at COTA, and Gabriel Lafreniere last week here in the Cup, in the Xfinity Series, finishing 7th last week at COTA. So quite a big week for him, as you know, it's not often that we get to see some of these guys there on the podium. Dylan Ackert here in the Nitro number 66 Chevrolet Camaro. He's being chased down by Joseph Lester in a totally blacked out number 84 Toyota Supra. It almost looks like Chevrolet Camaro almost looks like Chevrolet made a Batmobile and just put him out here to lurk around the racetrack. As Joseph had a pretty rough night last night in the Cup Series. Looks like he's trying to make up for it tonight here in Xfinity. Christopher Hill and Bennett Allen still atop the pile as they've now put Tony Burt down a lap. And, you know, I've said it 100 times here, and Tony Burt, I'm not going to lie, I'm kind of biased toward Tony. He is one heck of a driver and just an all-around good person. And as he works his way around this piece, I know that he will absolutely be getting it done here. Well, folks, we were able to get some kind of a graphic up here on the screen. There's been a major software update, and well, long story short, it just looks goofy, and we're hoping that the fine folks over at SDK can get that fixed up. But while all that was going on, we are 59 laps of 250 in with just one caution for cause tonight. And checking in here with our race setup as far as the way that we are designed tonight. Basically, stage one going to end at about 15 laps here on lap 75. Stage two going to end at lap 150, and then 100 laps to the end to lap 250. A fantastic evening here in Richmond, Virginia, as you've been missing, unfortunately, some of the greatest racing that we've seen so far on the iRacing.com servers. And, you know, we talk about it all the time here on SRM, and this is one of those situations where, you know, we look at these drivers, 33 take the field, and right now Christopher Hill is just putting on a clinic. Christopher Hill here in the 11 car. He's supposed to be in the 96. Not sure what that paint deal is, but he has now put Alexander Gangler down one lap. So that puts Alexander in the lucky dog position, and so far there have been no problems other than one little incident earlier here on the racetrack. Bennett Allen running in second position with RP Allen in third, and right now, you know, it's almost too early to start making any kind of deals with the devil, if you will. You know, something that we see way too often on the iRacing.com servers is guys that just seem to send it in there a little heavy. But here we are under caution, and we'll take a look and see what might have just gone on here, as Dan Morgan once again involved in something. Dan Morgan in the 80 machine, just being passed by the leaders as, Bennett Allen just gets into his rear there. And you know what? I mean, we could sit here and argue this in race review all night long, but, you know, unfortunately, it looks like Dan Morgan just wrong place, wrong time. And maybe we could argue that at another time, but tonight's certainly not the night, as we've got bigger fish to fry here on Sim Racing Media. Once again, you can see the 80 just getting drifted up into by the 15, but realistically, the 80 was kind of where the 15 wanted to go, and generally that's what happens to these cars here. And Dan Morgan wisely deciding to stay put until all of the traffic moved out of the way. Glad everybody's in with us tonight, as we've got, looks like, about 20 folks viewing right now. We appreciate your patience and your time. You know, got to be honest here, folks, although that this is the Xfinity Series and usually what would be in real NASCAR the Under Series, we look at this Xfinity Series as being one of the elite, because these drivers are out here fighting tooth and nail. And over the last two seasons, they have put on quite a show for us here on YouTube. Of course, last season, the SNN Xfinity Series was featured over on the Independence Racing Network, and this year we've finally gotten them moved over here to Sim Racing Media. So IRN is moved there to the back shelf, but Sim Racing Media now having, you know, the ability to broadcast the Cup Series, the Xfinity Series, and the Truck Series right here on YouTube, and of course over on my personal Facebook. You can check me out over there on Facebook. Glad to have everybody in. So unfortunately, you know, it's kind of hard to see all of the names, and folks, I do apologize for that, as we've just had some really crappy luck here with our graphics. We're not sure exactly what's going on. So I don't want to talk about that and dwell on it too much, as we are here in Richmond, Virginia, of course, the former Richmond, Virginia, very interesting town in and of itself. As this used to be the capital of another country from about 1860 to 1865 for all of those folks that are history buffs. The iRacing.com pace car lights are out, which means we'll be getting ready to go back. Green flag racing here as Bennett Allen hits the Geico restart zone, smashes the loud pedal into the floor, and we're back underway here at Richmond. So anyway, of course, Richmond, Virginia, the capital of the former capital of a former country, right here in the state that is for lovers, from what I'm told. Of course, it didn't seem like it was for lovers for those 5 years while Jefferson Davis lived here. Kind of strange, but it is what it is. Of course, Richmond also the home to the Richmond Flying Squirrels of the AA Eastern League Baseball minor league, that is. Bennett Allen, your race leader here. He's got about a half a second over top of his brother, R.P. Allen, and they are side by side coming through the tri-oval here. Technically, it's more like a D. But Joseph Lester working the low side of the 09 of Bobby Blazer as we are under caution yet again here on lap 71. That may even bring us to the close of the stage. I guess we'll find out momentarily. And while we do that, I'll step aside here. We'll pull up this replay of what might have happened between Corey Burkett and Chris Custer. We see Corey Burkett here in the 13 machine. And it just looks like they're running out of room here as they haul it off into turn 3. All kinds of smoke. Oh! And it looks like Kavaja Holt may have been the impetus for this wreck, and we'll see exactly what might have happened. As it looks like Kavaja Holt working the high side here of Ricky Carmichael. Kavaja comes into 3. There was a checkup there from the 32. And that's never any good. That's for darn sure. We'll see exactly what went on there. As we're trying to get that up there, and maybe we can take a look. Somewhere in and around the 17 machine here. And the 97 stepping out. Oh! Well, that should be, as I said, the end of the stage here. So here at the end of stage 1 should be Christopher Hill, Channing Ballou, Brandon Minto. That may not be accurate, folks. I do apologize. And that'll settle us in here for stage 2. So as we get ready to go back, green flag racing, Christopher Hill, Channing Ballou, Brandon Minto, Kavaja Holt, Bennett Allen, R.P. Allen, Eugenio Alonso, Bobby Blazer, Joseph Lester, and Mike Wright going to round out the top 10. Let's see what happens when the iRacing.com pace car comes across the start-finish line. We may have time, as it looks like we do have time. going to see what exactly might have happened there in front of Kavaja. Hey, Kavaja, it's Dave up in the booth. You get a copy. Hey, man, listen, you just played the avoidance game like crazy. What was going on there?
I'm not sure. The green car, I can't remember what number it was. He was flying up. I guess he had fresh tires just coming up to the field. Kind of let him by, and then after letting him by, he kind of got loose, and another guy was just trying to avoid, man, and got up into me. Kind of sucks, but it was what it is.
Yeah, here's the thing. It's a long race. It's a long night here, but looks like you're going to be getting ready to go back green here. So, another situation where you're just going to hold on tight, huh?
Yes, sir. Hopefully I can get everything fixed and be good.
All right, man. Well, listen, good luck the rest of the way, and we'll see you on the other side, brother.
All right. Thank you, man.
That was Kavaja Holt, driver of the 00. We saw him involved in that incident a moment ago. He stays on the lead lap as the iRacing.com pace car going to parade us down the back stretch here. With Hill, Ballou, Minto, Allen, and Blazer, your top 6. The iRacing.com pace car heads on down pit road. The man in the stand has the green flag in his hand, and we are back underway. Nice clean restart so far here in Richmond, Virginia. Beautiful sunny day here. Dave Riedel here in the Sim Racing Media broadcast booth. Glad that you have decided to make us a part of your evening. As we're taking a look at Bennett Allen right now. Bennett Allen just laying down the fastest the fastest time so far in segment 2 at 11.33 seconds. His brother RP Allen just laid down the fastest time in segment 1 at 11.13 seconds. So the Allen brothers out here with a ton of speed. And folks, I saw them in practice in the Cup Series in a fixed Cup race on Saturday night, and just 65 laps, of course. And we certainly were not in the same split as these guys are from another planet when it comes to their driving ability. But regardless, they were out there running 1 and 2 in the public server. So that just, in their own little world, so to speak, that can really affect the way that you do here in a private hosted race or in a league race like this. But Richmond, Virginia, the Richmond Raceway in and of itself has been an amazing place over the years, and of course, so many iconic moments have happened here. Of course, Dale Earnhardt cleaning the old windshield there on his Chevy way back in the hayback, and NASCAR has basically has been the owner here since 1999. And, they've been hosting events since 1953. Of course, the 400 here since 53 through 55 and 57. The Xfinity Series has been here since 1982. And and we're under caution again. And all kinds of stuff just happened on iRacing timing and scoring. We'll take a look. Carlos Ramos in that black and blue 97. Looks like he may be getting black and blue after this incident. There's a little bit of a rub there. Oh, from the 84. In fact, we'll be able to back this up quite a bit. As maybe the 84 was getting just a little wild. We'll go up here to the blimp cam, as that was right above the scene of the crime. That's Joseph Lester there in that black machine. He's on the high side of Bobby Blazer in the 09. They make contact. The 84. Oh, Lester. Oh, and he just gets pummeled around there. And, let's call it what it is. Looks like it just kind of turned into a more of an accordion behind him as everybody went to check up after he and Blazer made contact. We'll see that right here from the drone and now you can see everybody just checking up. And then, of course, as soon as Lester turns sideways, he just turns into a car collector. So we do want to touch base with a driver that we haven't seen for a couple of weeks. We'll see if we can get a hold of him here.
Did you see how many times he was banging the outside wall coming off at 2?
Hey, Ricky, it's Dave up in the broadcast booth. Sorry, I didn't mean to steal you out of your conversation.
Yep. Yeah. What's happening?
Hey, man, listen, we've missed you the last couple of weeks. Glad to have you back here. Where have you been? I mean, I shouldn't say that. I did see you on NBC. That's a little different.
Right. Yeah, just been, life gets in the way sometimes. I've been wanting to race and so bad, but it's great to be back in. This is always a lot of fun. It's chaos, and hopefully everyone's having a good time watching.
We definitely are. I mean, I did get a chance to catch you there on NBC a couple of weeks ago, and right now you're up here in 8th position, up 10 spots. How has traffic been down there on the racetrack?
It's been a lot of fun. I was in the front row seat there that last little ball up, but nevertheless, it's a great racetrack. Once it gets going and everyone kind of finds their way, then you can kind of move around. But great racetrack, a lot of fun, and it's an honor to be out here.
Yeah, man. I mean, last night we wound up having a couple of stints where we had 100 laps and then some of green flag racing, which is almost unheard of at any short track. So I'm hoping that you guys can get going.
Yeah, that would be really good to see that and see whose car's good and who's got that good balance. I think you can kind of get an idea there, but I feel pretty good. The 1110 mods got us dialed in, so should be good.
All right, brother. Well, listen, thank you for the time, and we will see you hopefully on the other side.
You bet. Thank you very much.
That, of course, was the great Ricky Carmichael, of course, a commentator for NBC Sports, covering some dirt bike events over there on NBC Sports. And, it's always cool when somebody who's at the top of the top echelon in all that is motorsports still comes to hang out with those of us that are, basically amateurs. And it's just, he's an all-around really good guy. Glad to be able to spend a few moments with him. But right now, the Allen brothers are on the front row, and hopefully we can get some long green flag runs here like we had last night in the Cup Series. And I'll tell you what, if the Allen brothers are up front, we're about to see some awesome fireworks from these two, as every week we do get to see them go as they are door to door. Bennett hits the loud pedal, and we're underway. RP not getting the start that I expected to see him with, as Christopher Hill takes the low side. Now it looks like RP going to be hanging on to the high side, chasing brother Bennett down. As Bennett, like I said, just got a great start. He's already up to 0.47 seconds, nearly a half second now over RP. Further back here, it's a little bit of a hodgepodge of drivers as we see the 66 of Dylan Eckhart on that right rear of Christopher Hill. Christopher Hill trying to hold his own as he dives it into turn number 3. We come through 4, and as they roll out through the Geico restart zone, looks like Hill is still going to maintain that 3rd position as we are on lap number 90 here out of 250, working our way toward lap number 150 here at Richmond Raceway. And, we were talking about it, a little bit ago, and this it's almost like if this was PBS on this old house, this would be this old racetrack. I mean, to be open since 1953, I mean, right in the heart of all that is NASCAR country, really it's kind of a gateway to the Southeast. I mean, if anybody has ever, taken a car trip to, the South, let's just say to Myrtle Beach, which is something that I'm familiar with doing so many times over the years. Once you get through Richmond, that's where I-95 really stretches itself out. You can stretch your legs, take in some sights, and really settle in for that drive. And it truly is the gateway to the southeastern United States, which I guess is why it served the purpose that it did, so very long ago. And even today, and right now, Gabriel Lafreniere going door handle to door handle with Ricky Carmichael, who's got a little bit of a crinkle there in the rear. And Carmichael now trying to find some space here on the racetrack, maybe catches a little bit of apron there as Kavaja Holt, who we had also just spoken with moments ago, has gotten himself up 18 positions into 15th. So right now it goes Bennett Allen, R.P. Allen, Christopher Hill, Dylan Ackart, and Bobby Blaze in your top 5 as we're kind of going an abbreviated radio style as we don't have full command of our graphics tonight, which I do apologize for, folks, but we're doing our very best to keep it as similar as possible. And just as I say that, looks like Brandon Minto might have been involved in, well, let's just say a little something as the front nose on this car is ripped off, but the hood's still there. However, I don't think he really has to worry about overheating, as I believe that would officially be an air-cooled Ford Mustang if I've ever seen one. Of course, just behind him is John Bawalda in the 51. Bawalda down a lap right now, but right now in the lucky dog seat is Bawalda, as he's now being passed by Zachary Vaughn, who's out there looking for the lucky dog here on lap number 96. These drivers finally getting, that groove in. And short track racing is all about rhythm, as we talked about last week at Circuit of the Americas. On a road course, yes, you're trying to get in rhythm, but you're not really able to get in rhythm and wait for someone's car to fall off far enough tire-wise to try to make significant gains on that driver. Here at a place like Richmond, once you wind up cooking your equipment off, you're either going to be falling back, or the person who did cook their equipment off is going to be falling back. So absolutely a different kind of event here compared to what we saw last week at COTA. And we can see John Bawalda still working his way around. Of course, John Bawalda, the commissioner of Tuesday Night NASCAR, brought to you by Jack Dow Esports and Simulators, right here on Sim Racing Media. But checking in with our race leaders, RP and Bennett Allen. They're out here getting it done, as we are basically single file for that front almost 8 cars. Way back here to Mike Wright, Joey Savajki, Eugenio Alonso. And I mean, at this point, there's still a lot of race to go. I mean, all the way back here, let's see. A little bit of a knot around the 16, the 48, and the 06. We'll keep a close eye on this particular piece, as we are still under green flag conditions here. And we can see right here, as it looks like the 16 going to be drafted up just behind Matt White. Ooh, he gets a little loose coming out of 4 across the start-finish line. That's going to allow Gabriel Lafreniere to draw ever closer to him. So right now it goes Matt White, Zach Osborne, and Gabriel Lafreniere, as everybody has just gone single file who's on the lead lap. And you know what, folks? I got to be honest. I mean, here's Alexander Gangler, the last car on the lead lap. I got to be honest. These drivers going single file, that means one thing, and that's green flag run. Those few cars that are trying to go side by side, they're not really gaining on one another that close, but at the same time, they're pretty much out here killing it as far as keeping this race nice and safe. So we're going to step aside and take a short commercial break, and we will see you on the other side. I'm Dave Riegel. This is Monday Night NASCAR Xfinity Series, brought to you by A Lot Cleaner Property Management and Maintenance, here on Sim Racing Media.
Kicker Gamer 2, what you see and what you hear is what you feel. Butt Kicker, the future is feeling. With the Butt Kicker Gamer 2, what you see and what you hear is what you feel. Butt Kicker, the future is feeling.
Welcome back to Richmond Raceway, where right now RP Allen has opened himself a 0.77 second lead over brother Bennett Allen, who's now trailing by 0.8 of a second. Christopher Hill just behind him at 0.4 of a second, with Dylan Ackart and Channing Ballou all here in the top 5, as Channing Ballou being challenged by Dylan Ackart. Dylan here now getting just ahead of that front right tire. We can see them side by side here as they are ready to just do battle here on lap number 116 out of 250. All of a sudden, the 42 of Channing Ballou dives it in there. He's trying to hold himself steady, as we still have 18 cars here on the lead lap, and not exactly a runaway as we saw last night, which is something that we've talked about so many times. And, you know, it's honestly at a point where I personally can't believe how good these drivers are, because, you know, one thing that we talk about here on Sim Racing Media is our drivers and how good they are in these races, because, to be completely honest, they're incredible. These guys are out here week in and week out, you know, getting it done in one way, shape, or form. And, you know, here we are yet again watching someone put on a clinic. Taking a look right now at the 42. That's Channing Blue working around the lap car of Dan Morgan. As Dan Morgan down several laps, of course, folks, I do have to apologize for our small graphic there at the top of the screen, as things just have not gone our way, and every time I try to step away and see if we can't make this work a little bit differently, it just never really seems to get itself just the way that I'd like it. And quite frankly, I'm a little crazy about that, but it is what it is, and we'll just have to work with it that way. But meanwhile, RP Allen now getting ready to put the 3 machine down a lap. Again, that's Ron Fitting just in front of him. But Bennett Allen, RP Allen, Christopher Hill, Channing Ballou, Bobby Blazer now working his way into the top 5. 18 cars still on the lead lap here. We'll take a look back at Matt White, who's here in the Nitro 48 Chevrolet Camaro. He's still getting it done back here. He's not done yet. In fact, as they would say on Monty Python, I'm not dead yet. And he is still out here getting her done, if you will. Taking a look around the racetrack, battling everywhere right now. We could see right there Chris Claude and Tony Burt both battling for position. Down a couple of laps are Burt and Claude. And unfortunately, that's kind of the way the cookie crumbles, so to speak, especially on a short track like this. When you get a driver, like RP Allen and Bennett Allen here, the biggest hindrance to their race right now is the lap track. And, right now the brothers trying to navigate this as if they have Google Maps inside these 2 cars, of course, a Chevrolet and a Toyota. And, it's almost like they want to see, is the bow tie stronger or is the super stronger? And right now they're trying to get around John Bawalda, who's not necessarily holding them up, but he's definitely hindering them as they're still trying to go out here and log laps with Christopher Hill now in close tow. He has the 38 to get around of Sean Kelly as the brothers Allen trying to work their way around that. Eugenio Alonso closing in on Mike Wright here in the 98 machine. And drivers in this particular league always very generous when it comes to room, making sure that they're announcing who's in my way and who's not in my way, and those that are in the way, always quick to get out of the way, so to speak, as that does allow them, a little bit of leeway here with these drivers. And folks, glad to have you with us here in the YouTube.com live chat. Let us know who you're pulling for. Let us know who you're looking to chase down after here, as we may be able to get them here on the radio in between stages. Of course, we do have stage breaks here. We're working our way toward lap number 150, and we have been green for a very long time. So, to be completely honest, as I'm looking back here through our race events, it's been a minute, for lack of a better term, and that's something that we do like to see in almost every level of iRacing, to be completely honest. And so far, we've had a couple of cautions for cause, the last one being at lap number 82, and here we are on lap number 132, so we've worked our way 50 green flag laps. Last night, the longest green flag run that we had in 400 laps at the Cup level was just over 100 laps, so very impressive for the Cup drivers as they made their way around. And, here in the standings right now, we want to take a look at that as we have a few moments here. Point standings as follows. Logan Truitt and RP Allen with Gabriel Lafreniere go 1, 2, 3 in the standings, with Dylan Eckhardt and Aaron Mack rounding out your top 5. Eugenio Alonso, who definitely helped his playoff bid last week to get himself nestled in here, as he had 2 podium finishes, one here in the Xfinity Series and one over in the Truck Series. So definitely something exciting for Eugenio, as I've been a follower of his career the last 2 years here in the Monday Night NASCAR Xfinity Series, proudly brought to you by A Lot Cleaner Property Management and Maintenance. Of course, that is the brainchild and the baby of one Mr. Anthony Burt, or Tony as we affectionately call him, as we are under caution here, looking to see what may have brought this out. I don't see anything. I do see smoke, but no fire. So not really sure what brought that out, as we're kind of scanning the race field right now, and I don't see anybody with an excessive amount of new damage. Something we're always looking for, of course. And somehow iRacing live timing and scoring didn't pick it up. So Channing Ballou deciding to come down pit road, as he has that Bass Pro Shop Chevrolet Camaro coming on down. Maybe he thinks he's going to come in and get some early tires. That'll be all right. We'll see what he comes in for here. Almost looks like a Darlington stripe on the side of the 42. Pulls into that number 2 pit box. As we see Channing now getting right sides, left sides, maybe a little bit of damage here. And that would cycle him up if this goes green now for the next 13 laps. That would put him in the lead once we go back green flag racing on the other side. Looks like he is going to have some damage. So I'm going to step back here and see if we can't see where he might have gotten this damage that he's getting repaired. And hopefully it's nothing serious. As sometimes we see more often than not, bad things happening to good people, if you will. But I don't see anything egregious here on the replay. So we'll go back out here as Channing Ballou has come off of pit road. Brandon Minto is down pit road here in the number 12 upside Ford Mustang. He's going to come down, looks like, for some service. And more than likely, just some repairs, as it looks like maybe Alexander Gangler just drunkenly parked here on the curb. As now it looks like Minto going to get off pit road. Channing Ballou back down pit road. Zachary Vaughn coming down and on his way out. So a little smattering here as Padge here in the 07 1110 mods Toyota Supra going to get him some repairs. Some 4 fresh Goodyear Eagles. And it looks like, he's going to stay for a few extra moments here. So when we go back green flag racing, as the iRacing.com pace car still out here with its lights on. Once we go back green flag racing, it looks like it's going to be Bennett Allen, Christopher Hill, Bobby Blazer, Dylan Ackert, Mike Wright, Eugenio Alonso, Aaron Mack, Joey Savajki, and Rich Jett, your top 10. Side by side are Bennett Allen and Christopher Hill, as the iRacing.com pace car dives down pit road. Bennett Allen comes into the Geico restart zone, gets a good restart, maybe a little bobble there in the rear end, and he takes off, as we are all of a sudden back under caution. So maybe a 5-yard penalty for a false start, as I don't see what might have extended this caution. So the pace car going to have to rocket back out the end of pit road. Not sure what happened. We'll see what's going on back here with Brandon Loomis and Steve Herring. And yeah, folks, I got to be honest, I don't see anything going on here with the 89, as it looks like they tried to get back underway and nothing doing. So pretty interesting. As now we're back under green. Just in case this couldn't be any more confusing, Bennett Allen and Christopher Hill lead this piece with Bobby Blazer door-to-door with RP Allen. RP holding the low side, making sure to defend that exit there. However, the hard part there is that with Blazer just over top of him, it's almost like he's playing smother. And, you know, RP can't really swing that 7 car out as far as he'd like to use that momentum to gain the speed, and there's the run that he needs, as he just decided to take one for the team and see how far he could push that number 7 Microsoft Chevrolet Camaro. I'm sorry, Toyota Supra. Looking back here where Joey Savajki in the 17 machine is, chasing down Aaron Mack in the number 31 Chevrolet Camaro. Then we've got Ricky Carmichael side by side with Kavaja Holt. Is Ricky holding his own tonight? He starts to get right in front of Rich Jett, who gets a run on him. Rich Jett with nowhere to go. If I was him, I would suddenly decide to be patient. As, oh, he kisses a little wall. Maybe he was a little too patient. And now it looks like Zach Osborne going to fall into line behind Ricky here, as Joey Savajki able to put some distance between himself and Kavaja Holt, as we are back under caution with Ron Fitting and Dan Morgan once again being involved. We'll take a look here at Ron Fitting. Ron Fitting here in the 3. As that will be the stage break. So once again, the stage break going to be spawned right in front of the 41. That would be the 41 of Doug Argabright, and I'm guessing Argabright not going to be a happy camper. We'll take a look here at Dan Morgan as well. And Dan Morgan once again having kind of a rough night. Oh, Dan Morgan just getting hit in the rear by the 62. And that would be John Wilco, Roger Wilco's brother. So see if we can get a hold of John Wilco. And of course not. See who we can pull down in here. In fact, we'll get race controls Jeff Carson here into the broadcast booth. Hey Jeff, it's Dave up in the booth. You got a copy?
Gotcha, buddy.
Hey man, listen, doing race control tonight. What's your take on this piece?
So far, it's actually been pretty eventless. Everyone's given patience, and once the field gets out rung out, it's just a lot of green flag runs.
Yeah, green flag runs were kind of the story of last night once we finally got into that groove, and I was just talking to Ricky Carmichael a few moments ago, and he had talked about everybody just trying to get in the groove. I mean, so far, it feels like those green flag runs are getting longer and longer now with just 100 laps to go.
Yeah, you're going to be seeing a lot more racing now with the 100 to go here. You're gonna, sorry, I had the radio going, but you're gonna see a lot less give and take now that it's less than 100 to go. So I would expect quite a few more cautions now.
Well, let's hope not, because I'd like to see this race maybe not go all kinds of crazy sideways. We've had enough problems here at SRM tonight with technical difficulties.
Yes, I'm with you there as well. I wanted to go green the rest of the way.
All right, man. Well, listen, I appreciate the time. Good luck there. Is race control one of the thankless jobs in iRacing?
Yes.
All right, buddy. I'll talk to you in a bit.
All right. Thank you, buddy.
But, of course, the great Jeff Carson, as he is performing race control duties tonight. And believe me, there's a couple of places on the racetrack you never want to be. You never want to be the car that's about to be put a lap down by the leader. You never want to be the leader looking at about to be a lap down car, and you don't want to be in the middle of a hornet's nest on the racetrack. You also don't want to be race control. Race control is a tough job. It's a thankless job on so many different levels because you either can make or break your night. But right here on lap number 152, when we go back green, it'll be 153 laps, so just about 97 to go to the end as we finally got into that groove that Ricky Carmichael was talking about earlier. So glad to see everybody finally being patient. And it looks like we are going to be extending this caution. And right now, for those of you paying attention, and I'm sorry if you are, looks like the Philadelphia Phillies about to go 0-4 on the season as they're trailing the New York Yankees 8-1 up in the Bronx. Looks like they have just a man on and one out. So barring a miracle, looks like the Phillies are going to be going 0-4 for, I can't even begin to tell you when the last time that happened was. But I'll tell you who's not going 0-4. Gabriel Lafreniere, who's going to start here on the front row. He and Christopher Hill side by side. As Gabriel, of course, the story of the week last week at COTA. And Gabriel takes off and all of a sudden is ready to just rock and roll. Gabriel Lafreniere, of course, last week in the Truck Series, bringing home all kinds of excitement. In fact, we'll get those results for you because, folks, if you're not paying attention to all three of these series here on iRacing, you really need to, because I'll tell you what, the Jack Dow Simulators and Esports Truck Series live every Tuesday night right here at 8:15. Hopefully tomorrow night we won't have the same gremlins coming after us like we did tonight. Last week, everything went as we are under caution. Last week, everything went perfect for Gabriel Lafreniere in the Truck Series, and we'll get to those latest race results. Gabriel Lafreniere, of course, took home the checkered flag in the Truck Series with Eugenio Alonso and Sylvain Joly in third. So the podium made up of nothing but international contestants in our racing, which, you may not think that that's a big deal, folks, but it really is. I mean, iRacing, of course, is a worldwide service. There are people from just about every corner of the globe, save those few places that don't have electric and running water anymore. But, Gabriel Lafreniere able to bring home the checkered flag to our neighbors from the north up there in Canada. And absolutely thrilled for him last week that he was able to get that done. And we'll see if we can find anybody else here. See who's available to chat. In fact, let's get one of these Allen brothers. Let's see where RP is. One of the Money House Racing drivers, RP Allen. Dave up in the booth. You got a copy?
Oh, I have a copy.
Hiya, fella. Sorry for the immediate pop-in here, but listen, you're running a heck of a race tonight. You and your brother are out here kind of running a little bit of a clinic, if you will. You guys are probably the most separated that you've been all night. How's that 7-car feeling?
It's all right, I guess. I'm really not as fast as Christopher. I don't know what kind of drive-off this man has, but it's a lot better than mine. Yeah, I got kind of got the short stick when I'm behind the guy on old tires, so hopefully I can get around him, but this restart's going to be pretty stressful.
It seems like every restart has been stressful ever since we came back here to stage number 3. I mean, you guys had 1 and 2 pretty well locked down. I mean, as we get ready to, hopefully get back to green flag racing, obviously, what's your long run speed? Sorry, geez, all of a sudden I couldn't get words out. Your long run speed, how's that feeling? And are you looking more for long run or short run tonight?
Long run for sure, but I'm still not as good as Christopher. I don't know what he has that makes him have a better drive off. Maybe it's saving tires. Maybe it's not pushing as hard on exit. I don't know, but a good top 5 will be is what I'm shooting for today.
Well, I was telling our viewers just a little while ago that I saw you and Bennett, in the public server in practice the other night. You guys went 1-2 in open practice. So I definitely expect big things from you guys, as I do every week here on SRM. But before I cut you loose, is there anybody that you need to tip your helmet to tonight?
Yeah, Money House Racing, they're my owners this year, so shout out to them. And shout out to Chris Claude for putting on a pretty good league. I always have fun on Mondays.
Yeah, as they say on ESPN, it all comes down to Monday night. So glad to be with you, buddy, and hopefully we'll be able to talk to you on the podium at the end.
Yeah, I sure hope so. See you then.
All right, man. That was, of course, R.P. Allen, driver of the number 7 Microsoft Toyota Supra, of course, the brother of Bennett Allen. We might get a chance to talk to him a little bit later. But right now, as they come out of Turn 4, I'm guessing that we're going to see those iRacing.com pace car lights turn out. We'll see if we can find Christopher Hill. As they cross the start-finish line, the iRacing.com pace car lights go out. And maybe we can get a moment with him in a few minutes. 160 of 250, so we're down to 90 laps to go. Pretty important night here as things move along. And as we're back underway, Christopher Hill here in the Logitech Toyota Supra. He just laid the fastest time down in segment 1 at 11.04 seconds. And we're under caution again as Chris Claude and Dan Morgan have gotten together. Dan Morgan, I can't imagine has too many... Dan Morgan, I can't imagine has too many more incident points to go. As we see just what happened here as Chris on the high side in that number 10 machine. He's door to door with Tony Burt. Oh! Oh! That's a hard one for Chris. And that's a tough one, for Tony as well. I think that might have been a touch of net code. And we're going to see if we can go to the chopper cam momentarily and see maybe that one we can definitely classify as some as net code. We see Tony diving it in here underneath Chris. Oh, they did make contact, but Chris, I don't think he hit him that hard, but stranger things have happened. We'll see if we can look at this from Chris's perspective right here as we've got a drone cam just behind Chris. Yeah, it looks like maybe the net code threw Chris a little bit harder than he had to, as he did make some contact with the 4 machine. But we'll go down and we'll see if we can actually get a chance to talk with Chris, as we are under caution yet again. Let's see if we can get Chris over here in the broadcast booth. Hey, Chris, it's Dave up in the booth. You got a copy?
I do.
Hey, man, that was kind of a rough hit there with Tony. I mean, I think Netcode might have decided to throw you a lot harder than Tony got you because.
Oh yeah, definitely. It was not. That shouldn't have been that hard of a collision.
No, that was a Rubbins racing moment, and Netcode decided to come and finish you off. And I'll tell you what, I did have a moment ago, a little bit ago, a chance to talk to Jeff Carson. I hear him performing his race control duties superbly tonight. And I'll tell you what, I just mentioned it earlier. Race control has to be one of those thankless jobs, Chris.
Absolutely. Yeah, I really appreciate all the people that do dedicate their time to doing race control so that we can have people watching over, and it's certainly not something that I relish doing. I'd rather be in the race car even if I am spinning around like a top, but I don't know if it's going to affect the end result of my race very much. It's been a not the best night for me, not because of damage or anything like that, but just don't seem to have the speed tonight for whatever reason. But I'll come out and get all that I can like always, and come out tomorrow on the trucks and see if I can fare any better.
Absolutely, man. All right, well, listen, I see you getting back out there on track just ahead of the iRacing.com pace car. So good luck the rest of the way, and we will see you on the other side, buddy.
All right, thanks. Appreciate it.
That was Chris Claude, Chief Cook and Bottle Washer there in the SNN Cup Series. Of course, every Sunday night here at 8:30 p.m. I'm sorry, actually it's 7:30 p.m. on Sunday nights right here on Sim Racing Media. You can hang out with the great one, Mr. Tony Trapasso, and his great partner, Mr. Matt Nettler. As I love working with those two guys. iRacing, as we talked about earlier, is a global activity. I guess we are going to extend this caution. But iRacing is a global activity, and, I've gotten to know some really interesting people here on the servers. Not only Chris Claude and the likes of Chris Claude and John Bawalda, Tony Burt, but also folks like Tony Trapasso. And, Tony has become so much more than a coworker here at Sim Racing Media. He is my brother from another mother, and I'll tell you what, he had kind of a rough goings yesterday and was not able to make the race. But, James Riles, of course, picked up the torch as we are one big team here at SRM. But Tony Trapasso and Matt Mettler are one of those combinations here in broadcasting that is just a joy to listen to. So make sure that you tune in Sunday night at 7:30 when the green flag drops. And speaking of green flags, as we enter the Geico restart zone, Christopher Hill going to hit the loud pedal alongside of Channing Ballou. Ballou gets a little bit of a slow start there and allows RP Allen to just rocket past him, as it seemed like he had nitro in that gas tank. And nearly making contact goes Ballou and and RP Allen. RP and Bennett side by side. They aren't ready to give up one little bit tonight. And don't look now, but and we are under caution once again as Corey Burkett has now bit the big one along with Zach Osborne. We'll see what happened first with Zach. It looks like he was just doing battle with Sean Kelly and Matt White. And we see Zach Osborne here in the 16 machine just over top of Zachary Vaughn. He works the high side over top of Aaron Mack. And, Aaron Mack gets a nudge from Zachary Vaughn. Zach Osborne, just turns into a car collector. And debris flies everywhere. And since we talked with RP Allen a few moments ago, we'll see if we can chat here with Bennett Allen, driver of the number 15 machine. Hey, Bennett, it's Dave up in the booth. You got a copy, brother?
Yes, sir, Dave. How's it going?
Not bad tonight, but I mean, at least here in the broadcast booth, I don't have any sweat dripping off of me like I assume you do down there in the 15. But this is about the furthest you've been away from RP. How are you guys handling this separation?
He's not happy. He's been yelling in the Discord, as per usual. But, you know, after that speeding penalty at the end of stage 2, I've just had issues with all these cautions trying to get back to the field. But this Bonnie Blaine's vintage Chevy Camaro is pretty fast. I think it's going to be probably the fastest once I get back up front. But getting 2 stage wins and, you know, kind of getting a good points day going is all that I needed. Still a long season, so those wins might come later.
Yeah, I mean, definitely a long season. I mean, we've had a lot of time to chat here, you know, in Discord and, of course, you know, on the podium. And, I mean, here you are restarting, going to be just behind Ricky Carmichael. Actually, you should be on his outside. You know, at least you know that you're near somebody that is more than qualified to do the restart without ramming into someone.
Yeah, restarts have been interesting for sure. I had a really close call coming off of 2 there after that last restart. I don't know what they're doing in front of me. I get it, a little bit more crunch time going on with under 100 to go, but there's still plenty of time to spread out the field, and if you're faster, you're going to pass somebody. So that's what I've kind of been trying to do is, you know, pick my battles and try to save my tires. And I mean, it worked out great in stage 2, and now it's time to get it back up front so I'm in position to win this thing. But like I said, it's been a good points day, so even if I don't win, it's been a good day, so it's whatever.
Yeah, points are definitely prime here, but all right, Bennett, well, listen, I don't want to hold you up anymore as we're getting ready to go back green, but thank you for the time, and hopefully we'll see you on the other side.
Yes, sir. Thanks, Dave.
That, of course, Bennett Allen, driver of the number 15 Chevrolet Camaro tonight with B-Blaze Vintage right on the front of it there. We'll send him on back up to, where the heck is it? I just lost it. Bennett, I'm working on trying to find your Discord, and it just disappeared on me. Stand by. Oh, never mind. He went back himself. That's why I couldn't find it. Bennett Allen driving for Money House Racing. Channing Ballou deciding maybe he's coming down pit road. I don't know what he thinks he's doing right here as he slides back up in. Robert Nestor in the YouTube.com live chat saying, let's go Aaron Mack. So I guess he wants a 31 car to all of a sudden come out of nowhere and start making some hay. As Aaron Mack running back in 13th position right now. We see him here on the inside of Rich Jett. As he takes off, we get the restart. And Christopher Hill just gets an amazing restart here. It's a little bit of a salad bowl further back in the field, nearly 3 wide as they're side by side. And Bennett Allen, who you just talked to, diving in. Oh, Eugenio Alonso goes up high. Ricky Carmichael able to avoid, and oh, that is not what we wanted to see. We'll take a look here. As we'll take this right from a moment ago, we see Ricky Carmichael side by side with Dylan Ackert and Gabriel Lafreniere. He dives it in and maybe just comes in a little bit too hot, gets contact. There it is from the 66, and boom goes the proverbial dynamite, if you will. And that should probably be frustrating to Eugenio. As we are under caution once again here on lap 178. We're going to step aside and take a break here on Sim Racing Media.
With the Butt Kicker Gamer 2, what you see and what you hear is what you feel. Butt Kicker, The future is feeling.
Drivers that took time, all of them within 3.
And we're back under caution. Of course, not something that we wanted to see tonight, as all kind of hell and havoc has broken out around the racetrack. right now trying to get some things taken care of here. So we're going to let you folks kind of hang loose here with us here. Do this for you folks. As we're getting ready to go back under green here, we're on lap 188. Going to be 189, or I'm sorry, we're on 189. Going to be lap 190 when we go back green flag racing. We are back underway right now, folks, as we're trying to get some, once again, some issues taken care of here. As I'm trying desperately to hold steady here on the graphics that you see all night long. As we're under caution yet again. Things just getting uglier and uglier now. We'll see what happened here with John Bawalda. Here he is in the 51. They go 3 wide behind him. Then John looks like he thought about taking it 3 wide, thought better of it. He gets loosened up by Corey Burkett, and Corey Burkett just sends it. And a double hit to Bawalda. That's good. Oh, a triple hit off of Corey Burkett yet again. That's no way to finish your evening here. That's for sure. as we are 58 to go now. So definitely starting to count down the laps, if you will. Something that we've been waiting desperately for all evening long. Kyle Wendell said that we let him have it this week, and KRM will be back next week, so watch out. So thank you all. Appreciate you. Glad to have everybody with us tonight in YouTube.com. Of course, over on iRacing. I'm sorry, over on Facebook as well. As we're on lap number 194 of 250. I think we may have something maybe figured out here. We'll see. Just a moment. Just in case we didn't have enough time before. And that'll definitely change things here on your screen. We see 53 laps to go as we're under caution. That's not going to do it either, that's for sure. Thought maybe we could make something happen there, but I guess not tonight. Well, folks, I guess it's time for me to just give up and go with what we got here. Christopher Hill, Channing Ballou, Gabriel Lafreniere, your top three with Rich Jett and RP Allen rounding out the top five. Don't look now, but Ricky Carmichael has just quietly moved his way up here into the top six. Bennett Allen, Mike Wright, Zachary Vaughn, and Brandon Minto round out your top 10. So a lot of competitive drivers here. But just like RP was mentioning earlier, Christopher Hill getting such a drive off the corner. We're definitely going to have a moment to be able to appreciate that as we are going to turn it up once we go back green flag racing. Not sure what Christopher's doing down there on the apron. He may not be sure either. And when we go back green flag racing, which should be in the next lap, we will have about 46 to the end, as we're going to be on lap 204 when we go back green. So it's going to be Hill, Ballou, Lafreniere, Jett Allen, Carmichael Allen, Mike Wright, Zachary Vaughn, and Brandon Minto, your top 10. Just 16 cars on the lead lap, rounding out with Joey Savachki, Eugenio Alonso, and John Wilco out of McAdoo, Pennsylvania. He will be battling it out for the lucky dog position here. As we're taking a look here, we don't see where Mr. Wilco might be in our Discord, but that doesn't seem to matter very much as we are back green flag racing. We're going to take a look here right from the blimp at this exit, and maybe we could even do one better. We'll go right here onto the helmet cam of Christopher Hill. You can see he gets a little loose coming into turn one and walks it out of three and out of two. But he is hitting this diamond pattern almost perfectly. Very straight lines. As we see Hill hitting that first mark there, that's the exit line for pit road. He manages to walk it out of two again. Here he goes again, hitting this apex just about perfectly while he walks out. Oh, and a wrecked car up there on the high side. He manages to get away from him, as it looks like that would be Chris Custer. We'll see what happened to Custer right here. As we'll take a look at Custer. And he just plain old loses it. We'll see if we can get maybe a better look here. Maybe a little bit of contact with Bawalda as Bawalda just runs it in there. And, oh, yeah. Something that John Bawalda not known for, but all of a sudden he becomes, unfortunately, that guy for Chris Custer tonight. As now it looks like Tony Burt. Oh, Tony Burt, the three made contact. Tony's around. Uh-oh. As we're under caution again with 39 to go. We see Tony Burt getting away from Chris Custer. He rubs the wall and comes down into Ron Fitting, and boom goes the dynamite. So there we were, just barely discussing what's going on with Tony Burt, but right now, wholesale pit stops underway. R.P. Allen coming down pit road. He's off with Mike Wright, Christopher Hill, Bobby Blazer, Channing Ballou, Bennett Allen, Brandon Minto. Coming down pit road, Ricky Carmichael, as well as Gabriel Lafreniere, Bennett Allen, and Christopher Hill. The top 5 already back out on the track, as they didn't come in, so there's going to be a fresh tire brigade right behind them here on lap 212. So I'm going to bet dollars to donuts, as the great Chris Evans would say. We're about to see something pretty interesting, if I do say so myself. So we'll see who might be available here in race chat. As we will, of course, get a chance here to talk to the great Tony Burt. Hey, Tony, it's Dave up in the broadcast booth. You get a copy?
I do. Hey, Dave. How are you, buddy?
I'm good. Glad to hear your voice, but maybe not under these circumstances. Looks like you bit the big one back there.
Yeah, I think that was all my fault, too. I don't think that was anybody's fault but my own.
Well, a little kiss of the wall, and you came down there onto Ron Fitting there in the 3, but, back-to-back, you and Bawalda just, getting into a little bit of a scrum here on the racetrack. But otherwise, how was the 4-car handling?
No, it's still handling great. It's been handling great all night, and it's handling great now, for sure. Can you jump in Ron's car and apologize to him for me?
I will absolutely go look for Ron wherever he happens to be. And, there's Tony Burt doing what Tony Burt does, being a respectful driver. But, buddy, listen, I'm sure I will get a chance to catch up with you after this piece, if we ever get done, as we're just finally closing in here on 40 to go.
Yeah, it hasn't been the best-looking race, I don't think, from your old standpoint. But you have a big talent. You can clean it up and make it look a lot better than it probably is.
Well, it's been kind of a rough night up here in the broadcast booth. We had some graphic issues early on. We still have those issues, so it's been a long night here in the booth and a long night down there in the track, that's for sure.
Yes, sir, most definitely.
All right, buddy, listen, God bless you, and I will chat with you in a while.
You too, brother.
And we'll see if we can find Ron Fitting. I don't see him in Discord, so we'll have to catch up. Oh, there he is. Hey, Ron, it's Dave up in the booth. You get a copy?
Yeah, I got you.
Hey, I do bring some good tidings from Tony Burt. He wanted to reach out to you and say he apologized. He definitely caught the wall back there, but how's that 3-car been all night?
I mean, it's been all right. Just getting banged up here, getting caught up in some accidents.
Yeah, I'll definitely say so. But of course, a moment ago, Tony Burt rubbing the wall and then coming down on top of you. Not the way you want to go. But listen, I'll get out of your ear and get back to racing.
All right, thank you.
And we'll get you sent back up there to that Black Bullet team. I always hate being in the guy's car, especially here at restart. Car's starting to look like they've been out here in a war, if you will, here on lap 216 of 250. Looks like Ron going to be coming back down pit road for more service. Bobby Blazer, your new race leader, he's going to be going to do battle with R.P. Allen. Bobby last coming down pit road on lap 199, but I'll tell you what, these guys in the fresh tire brigade, Ricky Carmichael, Gabriel Lafreniere, Bennett Allen, and Channing Ballou, they are down here hung here on lap 219 of 250. So just about 31 laps to go as this action just heating up now. Whoa, we see Bennett. Oh, Bennett Allen gets into the 42. The 42 and Bennett Allen collecting down the racetrack. They get out of the way, and we're under caution. And we'll see if we can get a view from the blimp as it was hovering just above this action. We see the 15 of Bennett Allen. He just barely catches a corner of the 42. The 42 then comes down in front of the 15. And I'll tell you what, Gabriel Lafreniere just barely avoiding sure disaster, as well as Ricky Carmichael. So RP and Aaron Mack going to be coming down pit road. Now they're going to have the fresh tires. And that'll leave Bobby Blazer, the lone driver with the older tires up here. Not too much older as he decides to get out of the way. Nope. Bobby Blazer going to stay out on track. He's got Christopher Hill, Mike Wright, Bennett Allen, Gabriel Lafreniere, Ricky Carmichael, Brandon Minto, Rich Jett, Zachary Vaughn, and Joey Savachki going to be restarting behind him. That's your top 10 of the evening. And right now, the oldest tires on the track belong to Brandon Minto, who he has managed to stay exactly where he had started tonight in 7th position in this heavily damaged number 12 Upside Ford Mustang. He sits right behind Ricky Carmichael, who's got probably one of the better races going this evening of his season. So Bobby Blazer going to be restarting P1 here. Pretty interesting evening for Bobby. We take one more look here. That's Blazer, Hill, Wright, Bennett, Allen, Gabriel Lafreniere, Carmichael, Minto, Jett, Vaughn, and Savachki. Side by side they go as they come out of turn 2, the iRacing.com pace car. Its pace car lights are out, which means that we'll be going back green flag racing here in just a moment, folks. As we see this field working their way through here. The story, all eyes going to be on Bobby Blazer as he comes into the Geico restart zone. The green flag waves. And hopefully this time is the last time we see the green flag waves. We are back underway here at Richmond Raceway. Dave Regal in the Sim Racing Media broadcast booth with you tonight in the A Lot Cleaner Property Management and Maintenance Xfinity Series. Of course, we're part of the... Wow, what a move from Christopher Hill. As he gets to the low side of Blazer, he bumps into Blazer and shoves him up to the wall. What a save by Blazer. It's now a four-way battle for the lead. Mike Wright lurking just behind Bennett Allen as he looks hungry, and we are back under caution. Son of a biscuit. As John Wilco may have brought this one out. Folks, I got to be honest, I don't know how many, I've lost track of how many cautions we've had as we take a look here at the blow pop machine of John Wilco, McAdoo, Pennsylvania's very own. He comes into one, and it looks like he's still holding it together here, and there's the back end bouncing out on him, and he just noses into the wall right there at the start-finish line. And that'll probably end his evening for that. The nose of that car, as it looks like he's got pieces of debris all over the racetrack with just 25 laps to go. Quite a few cars coming down for fresh tires here with 24 to go now. Bobby Blazer, Mike Wright, Zachary Vaughn, Brandon Minto, Ricky Carmichael, Joey Savachki, Aaron Mack, all coming down right now for pit service. John Wilco, of course, now just coming off of pit road after that horrific wreck there. But when we go back green, Christopher Hill, Bennett Allen, Gabriel Lafreniere, Rich Jett, RP Allen, Channing Ballou, Sean Kelly, Bobby Blazer, Mike Wright, and Zachary Vaughn round out your top 10. The iRacing.com pace car lights are out. 21 laps to go. When we go back green flag racing, it will be 20 laps to go. Christopher Hill leading the field out through turn number 2. And as we go back green, Christopher Hill gets the run. They're battling behind him, Lafreniere, Allen, and Jett. $20 to go right now. This is a four-way battle right here for fourth position. As it looks like RP Allen, Gabriel Lafreniere, for the 42 of Christopher Ballou, and Bobby Blazer in the 09. They're 3 wide coming into 2. Rolling down to the backstretch. They get it all sorted out, but my goodness, that had disaster written all over it, if I've ever seen it, that's for sure. And the 31's around. Stay green because he goes down on the grass. Staying out of the way, 18 to go now. We are back under caution. All of a sudden, oh my. And this is going to have some interesting implications here. We're going to be able to take a run back here at this one. Looks like RP and Brother Bennett get together, the 7 and the 15. And just like that, he's doing battle there with Bobby Blazer. There's smoke, but no fire. Looking to see the impetus of what brought this caution out. Still nothing doing. We come through some more smoke here. It looks like he's coming up behind Tony Bird. And oh, there it is with Channing Ballou. They just get into one another, and that's not good. That's for darn sure. Is RP Allen. Oh no. Chris Claude just finished RP off in a way that is probably not feeling good for either one of them. That's for darn sure. Well, folks, looks like maybe we got, of course, here we are with 7 to go now. Maybe some of these graphical issues taken care of as we've had to switch just a little bit differently here, of course, over to a different overlay program. Definitely not what we wanted to see, but something that, quite frankly, can't do anything more than that. That's for darn sure. And as we go back green, things just heating up now. Christopher Hill takes off right now with Bobby Blazer in hot pursuit. Mike Wright and Rich Jett just behind. It looks like Ricky Carmichael doing battle here with our neighbor from the north, Gabriel Lafreniere, as Carmichael has the high side. Still green flag racing here. About 245 and 256 to go. Lafreniere side by side battling it out with Carmichael, as Carmichael trying to work his way toward his first podium of the season. Lafreniere not willing to give up anything, as maybe on exit here Carmichael can beat him. He does, and all of a sudden Carmichael up here into the top 5. Christopher Hill, Bobby Blazer, and Mike Wright battle it out here for the podium. And it is just an angry hornet's nest as we are under caution. Taking a look back here to see what might have brought that out. I don't see anything having happened. I didn't see anybody drop hysterically. I see something going on here with Bennett Allen, maybe. As he's down pit road. It looks like he's been there for a few minutes. So perhaps not that. Well, gotta be honest, folks. I don't see it. No smoke, no fire. And as we get ready to go back green once again, we will be going green-white checkers. So, of course, what that means, this is NASCAR overtime. So once that green flag waves, we will race around back to the white flag. Once the white flag waves, the next flag will end the race. If something should happen between the green flag and the white flag waving, we'll rack them, stack them, and do it all over again. As we've been out here now for just over 2 hours, Christopher Hill, Bobby Blazer, Mike Wright, Rich Jett, Ricky Carmichael make up the top 5. And you got to believe when somebody like Mike Wright, Ricky Carmichael, and Bobby Blazer all have those fresh tires, now it's go time, especially with just this green-white checker to go. The iRacing.com pace car gets ready to come across the start-finish line. The lights stay on here as everybody gets themselves settled in. It's been a long night here in Richmond, Virginia. Dave Regal in the Sim Racing Media broadcast booth. Folks, thank you for coming along for the ride with us, as it has been, like I just mentioned, it has been quite a race. I see Austin Story here in our YouTube.com live chat. Hey, Austin. I guess he's venting a little bit about Bennett and RP Allen. But right now, it's not looking good for either of those drivers, as Bennett Allen has dropped all the way back to 22nd as he sits on pit road, and RP Allen back in 13th as he was just all but leading this piece. So what's up, Austin? Glad to have you with us, and always glad to hear your insight, because you know what, sometimes here in the broadcast booth I get a little crazy blind. But right now, the story is Bobby Blazer and Christopher Hill taking the restart. They get one heck of a jump. If we can get a good clean lap out of this, we'll make it back to the start-finish line. As we stay green, Christopher Hill leading Bobby Blazer into turn 3, rolling out of 4. They go. And once they cross the start-finish line, the white flag is in the air, and we're racing back to checkers. Hill, Blazer, Wright, Jet, Lafreniere, and Carmichael here in the top 6, and they are all lined up. It looks like they are all not necessarily saying satisfied, as it looks like Carmichael was peeking down to get around Lafreniere, but up atop the pile is Christopher Hill bringing home the checkered flag here at Richmond Motor Speedway. And Christopher Hill, you have earned this burnout here. Burn it down, buddy. I do see Bobby Blazer and Mike Wright hiding just outside of the frame. I do appreciate that, because this moment is all about Christopher Hill. He has made one heck of an appearance tonight here at Richmond Raceway, and he has earned this moment to save all for himself. You know what? When you win like this, you can be a little selfish. That's for darn sure, especially when you've worked this hard for it. And we're getting these drivers down here into the waiting room. Looks like Mike Wright and Bobby Blaze are going to be coming down. And we'll get Chris Hill here on the radio. Hey, Chris, it's Dave up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yeah.
Hey, man, listen, you ran a heck of a race tonight. You know, RP talked about it earlier in the broadcast. You know, you were getting just an incredible run out on, on exit on 2 and 4. What was that car feeling like for you?
Yeah, it was, the first run, the right rear got burnt off pretty bad. So yeah, the rest of the race, the heat cycles kind of tightened everything up to where it actually launched off the corners a little bit better than when we went long green. So yeah, I mean, just keeping the right rear cool, just kind of let it grip up, and the car had a lot of natural turns, so really was just taking care of the right rear the whole race.
Yeah, of course, for those that aren't race car drivers or sim racing drivers, that right rear, especially when you're trying to get off of a turn exit, that can be key. And obviously, you made it happen tonight, man. And what a race you ran. So before we cut you loose, first off, this is your first win in the Xfinity Series this season, correct?
Correct.
I mean, now this is also your first year here in the Xfinity Series, so glad to have you with us. And I mean, next week we look to a little bit of a different race, race track, just for argument's sake. I mean, getting ready to go to Texas. What are you looking for going to an intermediate length track like Texas?
Same thing. I mean, you got to keep the right rear on it to go fast, so it's going to be kind of the same game. A lot more aero is important at the 1.5 miles than it is the short track. So spend a lot of time finding rear heights and then just building the right rear mechanically into the track.
Absolutely, man. All right. Well, listen, good luck at Texas next week. And before we cut you loose, is there anybody that you need to thank for this run tonight?
Yeah, I actually in that race I ran the Altus Engineering VRS set, which is on VRS.com. It's like $4.99 a month for the oval packs. So you can actually go and download the setup I drove in the race tonight. So really, it's all around good setup.
All right, man. Well, listen, congratulations. We will see you next week over there at Texas.
Yep. Thank you all.
And, of course, Christopher Hill getting his first Xfinity Series win here at Richmond Raceway. And right now we bring the great Bobby Blazer into the broadcast booth. Hey, Bobby, it's Dave. You got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Hey, man, listen, you ran a heck of a race tonight. I mean, all things considered, even finishing, second, you really had it in for Christopher Hill here toward the end.
What do you mean by had it in?
I mean, you were chasing him down like a crazy person, and I mean, he just had a little bit extra for you.
He had a little bit extra for me? I think his teammate did.
I mean, that's fair too. Why don't you talk about that?
Why don't I talk about it? I would love to talk about how much work Chris puts into this, how much other leaders of this organization put into this, how much time and effort you put into this. To have somebody come out here and treat this like garbage is a shame. I can't believe it still happens. You have people in here that spend so much time trying to make this a fun league. I come back to enjoy it. We have a nice guy, Jeff Carson, who comes out here, does race control for us, and he does his best. Chris, like I said, he does all the races, he sets everything up, he deals with all the BS that happens. You that has been a broadcaster for this league for an insane amount of time, if you've ever missed a race, you've gone back, saved this replay, re-recorded it in your own free time. You come out here and do that for us, and that's how you, Chris, Jeff, at one point Rob Nestor, that's how the people that come out here every single week and practice for this get treated. Really?
Yeah, I mean, it can be frustrating, and believe me, I appreciate the kind words about those of us who are here every week, and I mean, it's a tough break tonight, but at the end of the day, it's a podium finish. And listen, for lack of a better term, Bobby, I'm glad to have you out here every week because you keep it interesting, you keep it exciting, and sometimes in situations like this, the cream does eventually rise to the top. And for me, having watched you over the last 2 seasons, I know that you will eventually get back in there to victory lane and show everybody why you're here, and make sure that this is a fun league to run in.
Well, I appreciate that. I appreciate your kind words, but this is the first race I've done this season. I left after last year, after some stuff went down. It's irrelevant now. It was worked on. It was fixed. I came back because I love Richmond. It's my favorite track. I've been going here since 2008 with my dad. I come out here, and I was there yesterday. I got burnt to hell, so I kind of hurt right now, but it's just disappointing, dog. Like, you go out here for X amount of time, and people want to just treat it like it's something that's, you always worried about the people that are treating it too serious. People don't run official races anymore because they're afraid of people who take it too serious. So they go into these leagues, they spend all this time practicing. I'm not going to keep repeating myself with all this time, but there's so many people in here that put so much effort into this. And they go in here, and everybody's worried about the people who spend too much time, the too many tryhards, da-da-da-da-da. What they should be worried about is corny people like Christopher Hill and whatever Channing Tatum, whatever his name is. They're both corny, and they should not be allowed in this league. A year ago, me and a Furter driver, I can't think of his name right now because I'm so pissed, not Brandon, not Mike, the other one that's not in this league anymore. Him and I had a great race for the last 30 laps. You go back and watch it. That's racing. That's exciting. If I would have finished second, I would have been just as happy. Go back and watch the All-Star race last year between Mike Wright and I when it was 100 and whatever amount of dollars on the line. He gave me room. He showed me love. Go back to Dover last year where Mike Wright treated me like a human being and raced me clean. I mean, I can go on and on and on, but it's just disappointing. You guys put too much time and effort into this, too much money, too much everything. To have people come in here and treat it like garbage and walk around like they're something they're not. So, congratulations to Christopher. I hope he's happy that his boy come out and does corny stuff like that. It is what it is. I just in part-time, I wanted to come out and have a good night. I had a great time. I appreciate you. I appreciate also Story for giving me a fire paint scheme late notice because I didn't get to have the number 90. Appreciate Mike racing me clean, my teammates. I'm a free agent, I guess, because I can't be on like 8 teams at once. So I appreciate everybody at EE Sports, McConey Setup Shop, all them. I had a fast car. I appreciate you. It's just so disappointing. That's how stuff has to happen. So disappointing. But go Phillies, I guess. Kind of like the Phillies.
Well, yeah, absolutely.
So there's
go
change
Phillies.
of pace.
Well,
Yeah,
I mean,
go Phillies.
To be fair, the Phillies just went 0-4. They lost to the Yankees tonight. So
I'm 0-1, but they didn't have the other team come out and step on all their base runners' feet.
I feel you.
Throw wiffle balls at them.
I feel you. All right, brother. Listen, hopefully I see you next week at Texas. I look forward to it.
Thank you.
That, of course, was the great Bobby Blazer, driver of the 09 Ford Mustang. Of course, that paint scheme is fired tonight And Austin Story, he's got to be like the Michelangelo of paint schemes because he can throw things together like nobody I've ever seen. And speaking of nobody I've ever seen, Mike Wright up here on the podium once again. Hey, Mike, it's Dave. How you feeling tonight?
I survived, so that's something, right?
Well, I guess that's the title of a T-shirt. That's for darn sure.
Yeah, we put that on it, we'll make some money.
Absolutely. Well, you know, tonight was kind of a rough night, of course, for us up here in the broadcast booth with graphics, but it was also a battlefield tonight there in Richmond. How was that car handling, and how did you manage to keep it all together here to finish here on the podium?
It didn't handle well. I guess that's a byproduct of not really being able to make many laps in advance and actually change the setup to the liking. So I just kind of got a relatively secure one, and it got better as the race went, trying to make some of those changes on pit road. And I feel like if there was some long green flag runs towards the end of the race like we had at the beginning, that might have paid off pretty well. But of course we didn't get any of that, and it really just became about keep the car going straight, and for the most part I was able to do that. And then except for whatever the 42 car was doing in that sequence of a few laps, that made the front of it a little busted up, and that probably took away any chance I had towards the end to make any run, just because the overheating started and it got very tight in the center. So to be honest, you know, start of the race I probably wasn't going to be a top 3 car, so it seems to be okay that we ended up there.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, last year it seemed like you and I were talking every week, whether you were first or second, and most of the time it was first. And you know, here we are finally once again able to get together. And I mean, you know, next week we go to Texas, and I know that, you know, your intermediate track skill is yes.
Next week should be an off week.
I'm reading. Hold on, stand by. Maybe I'm reading wrong. I see.
Real life is Bristol dirt, and Xfinity doesn't run.
What in the?
So
oh, hold on. Wait, I'm looking at the truck schedule.
Yeah, trucks is tomorrow. Trucks is
yeah.
Texas.
Never mind.
Yeah.
Obviously, I need to learn how to read.
That's all right.
I mean, listen, they didn't really teach that at my school, but yeah. So then we're going to Martinsville. So I guess now I have to kind of back up a lot of what I said, or walk back a lot of what I said. But going to Martinsville, I mean, short track racing. How are you feeling getting into the short tracks? You know, like this one and now Martinsville next.
If you have the right people, they can be fun. Obviously, what you saw tonight is probably what you're going to see at Martinsville, maybe even more so, just because of the nature. I think it's hard, especially at the beginning of any season, when you have turnover of drivers, new people. It's hard to really settle in and really know what people are going to do. That's the benefit of leagues, is that you can get to know people. So there are people out here that I know are going to drive a lot harder on a short run, or there's some that will work with me on longer runs, and you don't have to fight them as hard on a short run. So you learn that as you run in leagues, which is one of the big benefits of it. And at the beginning of a new season, you don't get that as much, because you have these people that you don't know, and some of them can be more erratic than others, and ultimately that just leads to cautions and rough to watch races, unfortunately. So in the short track area of the schedule, it's probably going to be more like that, which makes it a little tough to really enjoy it a lot of times. So you know, hopefully it's better. As I said last week, I'm kind of week by week about running, just because of schedules and things like that. So that may not be there for Martinsville, just knowing that it tends to be a wreck fest. So it stinks, because, you know, short tracks can be really good races, unfortunately.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you know, coming off of a road course like Coda last week, you know, I had talked several times about being in a good rhythm, you know, can get you in and around the road courses, but rhythm is just as important at a place like a short track like Richmond, and of course then following Martinsville, you know. So I get it, man. And before I cut you loose, who do you need to tip your helmet to for the night?
I just, you know, everybody that runs it, especially Chris, just, you know, getting everything set up. You know, everybody knows that he's got to deal with a lot of things, just because he's the guy on the control. So thanks for him for doing it, and let him know that there is definitely support, and thanks for him for doing it. But otherwise, Brandon and Bobby, we were kind of chatting the whole race, just kind of trying to make some fun of the time we had, enjoy it. So it was good to have Bobby back a little bit. Missed him from the last year or so. We had some good runs last year. It was he's one that I talk about a lot. That's what you expect from people, and that makes good racing. So I can say that for both of them, and there's some others out here too that you can say that. But it's been a little rough to start this year for sure.
Absolutely. Well, a little rough is definitely one way to put it. So thank you, Mike, and hopefully we'll see you in a couple of weeks.
All right, have a good one.
That, of course, was Mike Wright, driver of the number 98 Ford Mustang, the Fresh Market. And, you know, we've had quite an interesting night here, all things considered, at Richmond Raceway. And, I mean, you know, we see so many different styles of driving when we're out here on the racetrack. And, you know, obviously, Bobby Blazer, a very frustrated driver for the night, and not something that we really want to, you know, feel as a driver or as a broadcaster or anybody. You know, it's got to be a level playing field, and it's got to be good racing. And sometimes you get it good, and sometimes you get it rough. But finishing out tonight, we'll go over these final results here at Richmond. As I do want to thank everybody for sticking with us through the technical difficulties that we've had all night long. Christopher Hill, Bobby Blazer, and Mike Wright make up your podium. Christopher Hill bringing home his first checkered flag of the evening. Rich Jett, Gabriel Lafreniere, Ricky Carmichael, Joey Savajki, Brandon Minto, Kavaja Holt, and Zachary Vaughn round out your top 10. R.P. Allen, Eugenio Alonso, John Wilco, Sean Kelly, Alexander Gangler, Chris Claude, Ron Fitting, Aaron Mack, Steve Herring, Dylan Ackart are your top 20. Then the rest of the field is Bennett Allen, Chris Custer, John Bawalda, Channing Ballou, Anthony Paggio, Matt White, Corey Burkett, Brandon Loomis, Dan Morgan, Zach Osborne, John Crow Sr., Doug Argabright, Carlos Ramos, and rounding out the field, finishing in 35th after just 82 laps, Mr. Joseph Lester. So, folks, thank you for being with us as always, and we are glad to have you with us every Monday night. Of course, as Mike just pointed out, we are off next Monday night, but tomorrow night, don't forget to tune in right here, same bat time, same bat channel, for Tuesday Night NASCAR's Truck Series, brought to you by Jack Dow Simulators and Esports from right here in Willow Grove, PA. So for everybody here at Sim Racing Media, I'm Dave Regal, thanking you for making us a part of your evening and reminding you that tomorrow, as you go through your day, you need to find that one happy moment. And when you find that happy moment, you hang on to it, because with a happy thought, you can fly. Good night, everybody.